find him like he describes so many things as beautiful that it's just not the right word to describe.
But I find that hilarious.
It's funny, but it's weird.
It's so odd.
Right?
Or like he says stuff like he's trying to explain something.
I'm going to start doing that. We have a beautiful podcast for you guys today.
It's the golden era of beautiful podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, like he said something like, I try to remember exactly what it was, but like, did you guys hear about this? And like he'll say something like that like numerous times. Or did you hear about this? Or did you hear this? And like he repeats himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he repeats himself a lot.
But like watching that inauguration yesterday, the amount of people that were doing his like little dance when they were like playing music, like it's insane. By the way, we're live. But like it's absolutely
I like the fact that Carrie Underwood was like, F it, I'll do it live, and then she starts singing the song without the music playing.
That was actually pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But I like Carrie Underwood, so what can I say?
Yeah.
Almost anything Carrie Underwood does, I'm like, it is the best. Carrie Underwood is the best. No one greater than Carrie Underwood.
We have the best Carrie Underwood of all the Carrie Underwoods.
She is a beautiful singer, a beautiful voice, and I concur that is actual facts.
That's right.
That's actually a pretty good topic that he would actually say something like that too. Where he'd be like, did you guys hear this? Did you hear Carrie Underwood sing the anthem? Did you guys hear this? Like he would repeat himself.
She did the best job.
Trump, we were all not there.
Nobody was paying attention to you.
I just arrived. Totally missed it.
That guy shows up and people pay attention to him.
It's crazy.
People can't not pay attention to that guy.
I can't believe how many people were there and like in support and like were laughing at the things he was saying and like supporting the things he was saying and doing, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, he was popular this time around.
Well, he's going to manifest destiny all over Mars.
I don't know. Do you think people are actually going to Mars?
He said they are.
Was that a whole thing years ago when there was like a sign
We've got the best planets.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the whole sign up a few years ago, wasn't it? When like you can sign up to go and like
no one's going.
It was a one-way trip or something.
Yeah, it's a one-way trip. It's a toxic planet. Okay,
there's some death is waiting for you.
Yeah, that's why it's one way. You get there, you're dead.
You're dead.
How long does it take to get to that planet? Hey,
I don't know. Maybe you're dead before you get there.
We don't even know.
I have no clue how long it takes.
You know how long the year is on the planet?
Nope.
I believe it's almost twice Earth year.
Well, they're gonna put their flag on it.
The Americans?
No, somebody else.
They got the Space Force flag, don't they? We'll put that one up there. The Americans in space, they'll do it.
And then whoever puts it there is dead.
It's them or it's
dead.
Who else is going to go up there? I don't know. It'll be Elon Musk on his own.
I was saying Elon Musk is definitely going to go.
It'll be a drone powered by AI.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Some AI robot will do the exploring for us.
And then it'll start an AI colony on Mars, and eventually they'll invade us.
Yeah, and we'll be like, it's aliens. It's like, no, it's just a technology we created a long time ago.
And now it's killing us. We're dead.
It outsmarted us while it lived on Mars.
And then we won't have a podcast for 3 years.
Well, at least we'll blame it on the aliens that time.
That's right.
Wow.
The Android aliens, not the Apple ones.
Yep.
That's a phone joke?
I get it, but it wasn't really funny.
Listen.
Sometimes Josh makes a joke that is funny for Josh.
You do not have to get them all. You just have to try.
Well, you have the best jokes.
I have the best jokes. Yeah, I'm like a regular Shane Gillis. A little bit lighter, though.
He needed to bring up Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis is hilarious. That guy is hilarious. He's just offensively hilarious.
Comedy's banned. It offends too many people.
Yeah, basically, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
It does. Maybe Trump will fix it.
By making
He's going to bring back comedy and have the best comedy.
Oh, God.
Like, there's only two genders now in the U.S. government.
That started an uproar.
That was guaranteed to start an uproar.
Who cares?
Lord. A lot of people will not be a fan.
A lot of people will be a fan.
That's also true.
Anybody last night was a fan.
Like, I think more people than not are like, yeah, that's the facts, and let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He also, didn't he sign some bill in regards to immigration as well or something?
He signed a bunch of executive orders.
Yeah, that's what it was. Executive orders.
And I'm sure some of them are immigration related because he's quite concerned about that.
Yeah, he definitely said that those illegal immigrants should be processed as illegal immigrants.
Oh, the birthright. He's ending birthright.
That was the one with the gender, isn't it? Or?
No. It's if
birthright citizenship. You're allowed to get if you're one of your parents, you can get. If one of your parents has citizenship, you get U.S. citizenship.
No. If you're born in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Even if your parents don't have citizenship.
Right.
You're a citizen.
Right. You have to. I'm thinking of.
He's ending that, except already he's getting sued for it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been one day.
As Josh was commenting to me before the show, they were probably ready for that lawsuit for months.
Yeah, they definitely
wait
did
till
that.
he signs it, and yep, there it is.
And we'll see you in court.
Exactly.
Hey, that's how politics works. You gotta, you get people do something and then they challenge it, right?
It's true.
It's like
Fair
the CRA what are they charging us now for, Adam? In the new upcoming tax year?
Oh, the capital gains tax that there's no legislation supporting.
Yeah. The CRA, the governing authority on taxes, is just going to tax us new capital gains, even though there's no legislation in place to back that up.
Yeah, so that will also end up in court.
Immediately.
Oh my god.
Immediately will be like, why? You can't justify this. I'm like, yes, we can. We're the government. We can do whatever we want.
Point to a law that supports it. Look over there.
Yeah. They'll just be like, we're seeking the RCMP on you. That's all.
There was almost a law. Isn't that good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That makes no sense at all.
Oh, well. What can you do?
I don't know. Did you guys enjoy that storm the other day?
Oh, yeah. Everything was closed down for a while there.
Well, everybody was in the ditch.
Michael Lee went to play volleyball that day. He was out and about.
Well, that was in the evening when it calmed down.
It was calmed down by
the
then.
morning was an absolute crapshoot for everybody.
Crap.
Apparently, according to what I read today, I think MPI had about 500 accident claims.
Yeah, I
on that
believe
day
that.
alone.
I believe that.
Like, that is wild.
Everybody outside of Winnipeg just piled into the ditches, and they all hung out there.
There were multiple pileups. Like, there was one on, I think, Highway 6. There was one on Fermor and Plessis, I believe. The overpass. So that was apparently one of the worst ones.
That's why I couldn't go home for a long time. That exact one.
It's just insane.
And then Josh didn't care. He was like, I don't give a shit.
I thought I made fun of him.
Who, Adam?
Or someone. I don't remember.
Fair enough.
We make fun of each other all the time. This is the way it goes.
He basically brought it up so that he could tell me he didn't care.
All right. Sounds like him.
Thank you, sir.
Like, all right. Good talk.
Oh, well.
I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
Well, if I answered, I guess he assumed I was fine.
I guess so. But yeah, no, that was quite the storm.
Well, other than that, what did you guys get up to in the last week?
More of the same.
More of the same. Yeah, there's more of it going on right now.
Yeah.
The snow?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's life. Yeah.
It truly is January.
Yep.
I released a story on my renovations there. Did you guys see that?
The hole in the wall?
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't that always what his story is?
A hole in the wall.
Like, there's another hole in the wall.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it and talk about it.
Released an Instagram, Facebook story, and then all my coworkers, not all of my coworkers, but a majority of them that talked to me randomly throughout that day was like, I saw your story. What were you doing at work? And I was like, oh, geez, why did I share this information with the world now? Because all my coworkers are asking me about all my projects, and I got to tell stories. And as much as I love to tell stories, it's like I got to do my job at work, and I don't really want to tell you guys about the
I'm confused. He's complaining about telling stories. That's literally what he does.
I know. Well, I also got to do the things I'm responsible for.
He's just told a story about telling stories and not liking telling the story.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
I think
it's barely unpacked.
I will simply have to release more stories as an update, and when people ask me in real life what I'm doing, I will just tell them, hey, wait for the next update on my Instagram. Like and subscribe, and they'll love it.
I'm waiting for him to go, I have the best stories. Like, I'm just waiting for it.
I have the best stories.
We need a side channel called Josh's The Best Stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really not the best.
Is it this or this? What are you doing?
This thing?
This is Richard Nixon, right?
Yeah.
I think he just he does like full palms. He does the accordion thing. Remember the accordion video?
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He also does this a lot as well too. And, like,
this one.
I don't.
Which one?
That's his dance, but like he's standing there looking at people. He'll do this a lot, like to the crowd. But one of the things he did do is apparently wasn't TikTok supposed to get banned or something like that?
It was banned, and then he said, "Nah, you can have a little longer."
Psych,
just to figure that out. So it was gone for what, half a day?
Did TikTok actually black themselves out?
It
went dark for a bit,
and then it came back. Because Trump was immediately like.
But was that them doing it, or was it just
they did it? To comply with the U.S. law.
Yeah.
Now, when a lot of people were wondering if that's actually was something that was supposed to happen, or was all like a stunt, because it really made no sense.
Well, they were following the law that said they have to. They can't operate as long as they're owned by a Chinese company. ByteDance is the company name.
ByteDance?
ByteDance.
Yeah.
So the law says they have to. Well, I don't know the wording of it, but essentially they have to sell themselves to a U.S. owned company, I believe.
Interesting.
Or at the very least, it can't be Chinese owned. And they haven't, and the deadline came up, so they went dark.
But now he pushed it or something like that.
Well, I think what was it, the day before the inauguration or something? I guess they were already in communication with Trump, and he just essentially said, "You guys have an extra 75 days."
Yeah, that's what it was.
He's like, as soon as I'm in power, I'll sign an executive order to allow that. So he did. So they have 75 days to figure it out.
Did you guys go on there and see anything on TikTok? A lot of these, what do you call them now?
I only went on TikTok to release a leak spec reel.
Fair enough.
It's the only time I've ever been on it.
A lot of these influencers are releasing videos of this oh, my greatest secret was this. It's probably just obviously to get the views. But a lot of them
about
did,
the views.
Yeah, a lot of them did that because it was going to be shut down. And now it's well, now you kind of look silly because we're back.
Also, people were signing up on a different platform called Red Note, which is super duper Chinese government. So,
I don't understand.
I guess they don't care.
And then is that one not going to get banned too then if it falls under the same rules?
Oh, I don't know if it actually, if there's any U.S. infrastructure for that.
Oh, so it's not even released.
TikTok has offices and employees and all that in the U.S. and Canada. Although I think the Canadian government told them they have to divest or leave or something. I don't know.
Weren't they banning it because of what was the reason actually of the ban? Was it because of shared information, too much information being shared?
Well, it's being owned by the Chinese. The concern is that at any time the Chinese government can just basically demand information from the platform, and obviously the platform has a lot of information for a lot of people around the world, and specifically the U.S. is concerned about the U.S. So, but even in Canada, I believe the government has banned it on any sort of government device.
Yes, I believe so.
I think they are sort of in the process of trying to push them out of the country, but as it stands right now, Canadians can still use the app. So,
how do you guys feel about the app? I know Josh mentioned about LeakSpec. I don't know if you ever use it, but
as an IT professional, I stay away from things that the Chinese government can just dip into whenever they feel like it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's even the concerns that you can use fifth generational warfare with those programs and basically manipulate the population with algorithms. And
you
stuff.
Absolutely can.
Yeah, it's for sure something that they're concerned about. That's why they don't want an adversary of the U.S. running it in their country. You think that it's the same in China?
It's actually, as I understand, it's quite different in China.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen that, so
not that app specifically, but I'm just saying the way that they censor the internet is completely different.
Yes.
Well, hello, Casper. How are you today?
Is it Casper's turn on the mic?
I think it is.
He wants to be on the show again.
We're talking about TikTok. We kind of got to the end of the conversation, really. So.
Yeah, I think we've ticked all the talks.
Yeah. So now we're going to go into Danielle Smith.
Danielle Smith, the divider of Canada. Some would have you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but I would say no.
You're wrong.
I am wrong, yes.
The CBC blatantly informed me that she was wrong for all of their personal reasons that they didn't actually give any justification for.
That is how that went down, yes.
But do we know what happened with Danielle Smith and the rest of the premiers in Canada? Adam, do you want to tell us?
I mean, it's essentially, they've been touting this idea of a Team Canada approach to tariff threats from the U.S. And I guess Danielle Smith took issue with the discussing the option that perhaps oil may be blocked or export taxed or anything like that. Obviously, it would be a pretty big blow to Alberta, so it's pretty understandable that she's not pumped about that. And because I guess the other premiers and our fantastic prime minister, who keeps having opinions on things, took issue with that. They took issue with her standing up for her province and her big industry. You didn't really see any of them offering their own big industries as potential targets for this kind of thing. So, obviously she was looking for another way to try and work with Trump on this. And she took a lot of flack for it. And essentially, a lot of people are accusing her of dividing Team Canada. I don't personally see why it's a problem that she was speaking with the president and other politicians and discussing the impending situation, and I imagine looking for a solution. I mean, if you actually listen to what she's been saying we want to find a way to sell more oil to the US, which would be great for Canada as a whole. So it doesn't really sound to me like she was trying to divide the country, but others may see it a little differently. Josh, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't disagree with your view on this specifically.
You better not. Kick you out of your own house.
I read an article by some, I don't know what it was, some lady who was like a partisan lady. Pull up the commentary, Michael Lee, on the tie or whatever the heck they call it.
The tea?
Yeah. Is it called the tea or that's what the kids say, the tea these days. But
the tea? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The kids have a new thing. Dangerous sabotage of Team Canada. I misworded that apparently.
That's the article I read by whatever the T or the tie or whatever the heck that says. I don't know.
Well, just so you know, they're independent, fearless, and reader funded.
Yeah, of course they are. This is a very interesting article if you read through it. They give their strong opinions and lack in the factual basis of whatever the subject matter is they're trying to discuss here, which is how, as you said, Danielle Smith doesn't want to offer up the oil economy to the trade war that they're about to have in the U.S. here. I read through this article, and that's basically what it is, that she's not playing Team Canada because of that. And as you said, why are not any of the other markets being threatened as well? She's basically just putting hers off the table for the discussion, right?
Right. Just like the same as Ontario would go, you're taking auto parts off the table or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Manitoba would probably be like, you're not gonna prevent us from exporting agricultural, goods and whatnot.
Here's the way I look at it. The rest of Canada mainly have picked on Danielle Smith and Alberta, more so Alberta over the last 9 to 10 years, and not allowed them to develop. They've basically tried to landlock them.
Tried? You mean succeeded?
Pretty much, yeah. And so if you have the rest of the country constantly preventing them from creating a greater oil market, and yet at the same time taking massive amounts of equalization payments away from those richer marketplaces, significantly and mainly from Alberta.
Case in point, Quebec. They killed the Energy East pipeline that would have gone through Quebec. And this year they're going to be helping themselves with $13.6 billion in equalization payments. What's that about?
Well, that's my point. They just criticize Alberta with one hand, and then they take from them with the other hand, And then at the same time, when the Alberta Premier says, well, we just like to move forward on this market and create a stronger economy, everyone's like, well, you can't do that. We all have to suffer the same way and offer the same things against the U.S. Like, it's not even a good method. These trade wars and tariffs that we're going to be seeing is a terrible method in terms of how to come across a compromise between two nations anyways. So the fact that she's going in and opening the door and having discussions directly with Trump when no other premier or prime minister seems to be capable of having an actual conversation with him.
I mean, Trudeau did go and see him.
Yeah, and then we just heard about the 51st state comment for the whole time. And the guy has no respect from Donald Trump, and you're not going to get anywhere if a guy like that doesn't like you. You got to have some kind of backdoor dealings with other politicians in the parties in order to do it, because face to face, it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless.
Yeah, and I particularly appreciate her viewpoint that instead of going, yeah, if you do this, we're going to do the same thing back to you. I mean, maybe there's some degree of that needs to be looked at, but her viewpoint of more like, well, how can we figure out how to buy more stuff from them and sell them more stuff? I mean, that seems much more productive than just, basically going, well, we're gonna cut off your energy, we're gonna turn off the lights in New York or whatever, and if you do this, we threaten the same thing back. It's doesn't seem as productive as looking at how to solve the problem without taking stuff away.
You know what? As much as I've seen from this Donald Trump in the previous administration of his, he says these harsh and threatening things, but if you do the same thing back, he just gets more offended. So obviously, if you've already paid attention to his previous administration and his character, he doesn't like being threatened, and he's just going to act more harshly, and it's going to waste a lot more time. I think, like you're saying, if Danielle Smith,
Premier,
the Premier Danielle Smith, yeah, if she knows,
she knows Tim Apple.
If she knows this guy already from his previous character and administration, he'll say, you know what, those kind of things didn't work. He was just too harsh. Maybe what we got to do is enlighten him and kind of inflate his ego with what he wants, and basically, like you're saying, find out how we can help the Americans at the same time as helping Canadians. Because if you're going to just get into a tit for tat, like, I'll do this if you do this, like you're saying,
we won't win that.
We won't win that. They have a much larger and more powerful economy.
We are an ant compared to them.
Yeah.
So like we'll ultimately, it would hurt both sides, but we'll take the brunt of it if it was just a tit for tat type thing.
I feel better that somebody's actually going and trying to have a reasonable conversation with these people, as opposed to just having a us versus them mentality. Like you're saying, we won't win. We are smaller than them. We don't hold any power against them, right?
But we can help them get the wins they want if we can flip the discussion. And I think that's what Danielle Smith has been trying to do, and I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's just, I think it's an observation of how these two sides are looking at negotiation, actually. People are thinking of entering a trade war on one side with the rest of the premiers here, and based off of how they feel threatened by Trump. Whereas you have a strong female leader in Alberta that is basically saying, well, hold on, let's actually have a reasonable discussion and bring forth the issues. Yeah.
Well, I think so.
I want to ask you another quick question on that front, because it's something that probably is up for discussion across the country. But we talked about equalization payments for a second there.
We did?
I'm just curious. You guys understand what equalization payments are, aren't you?
I do.
Familiar with that?
But maybe for Casper's sake, you should fill us in.
Casper, he doesn't need to know, but I'll tell the rest of you while you're at it, because he's off asking questions of other people. Trolling, as we said. He's trolling.
That's not what he's doing.
He's out there trolling the rest of the world.
He's outside with a microphone walking around going, listen, do you know where the food is?
Basically, what happens here in this country is each province has a provincial budget and its own independent economy. And what happens is people in significant surplus of the rest of the provinces end up pooling their money together, basically, and sharing a good portion of what is in the surplus to the lesser provinces, so that things like healthcare and other universal expenses that we have as Canadians are equal. So you don't have a province in the Maritimes that doesn't have any healthcare and no hospitals because other countries like Saskatchewan and Alberta and BC actually have money, and other people in the Maritimes don't have money. You'd have like third world countries inside of a larger, more developed country. So that's the idea. But at the same time, is it beneficial entirely to Canadians? Because does it encourage people to vote for lesser policies in their provinces? Like my point is based off of what you said. $13 billion or something.
13.6
in Quebec, and how much goes to Ontario? And here in Manitoba?
Ontario, I believe they get a few $100 million. And Manitoba, it increases every year. We're getting a solid $4.7 billion this year. And, it seems like we have no stomach for trying to get off the welfare system.
That's what it is, huh?
Every year we're just celebrating that we're getting more and more equalization. And I feel like that just means that we're doing more poorly.
That basically is what it means. It means we're getting a bigger handout from the rest of the provinces that are doing significantly better. I think, what if there is like just a straight up, like they come up for negotiations on this equalization formula every so often, 10 years-ish, right? What if they simply just said, let's cap the amount that we can give, like out of the surplus at a lower amount? So it's just like, let's just say everybody can only get to a certain amount based off of whatever that surplus is of all the economies that year. So we don't get provinces that are getting billions and billions of dollars. Just say there's a cap and everybody can get up to that much, and the rest is on your province and their economy to generate the discrepancy. I know it's going to create a discrepancy in budgets across the country, but...
Well, listen, what if they just allow a pipeline to be built and then they get, royalties or however it works for the land that pipeline is on and the oil that goes through it?
Yeah,
could they make up some of that $13 billion?
Maybe they would do that if we forced them to do it with a different style of equalization payments. Because I really believe that it just discourages these other countries or other provinces, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, to just have lesser economic growth.
Yeah.
It's one thing to take on the assistance of the territories, like give assistance to the territories that are weaker economically for northern development. That's one thing.
Is Quebec poor? Like, why do they need such a colossal amount of money?
Is Ontario poor?
Absolutely not.
So why do they get all that money?
Yeah, okay. Your point is good, but Ontario is getting a drop in the bucket compared to what Quebec's getting.
I'm just saying, either way.
Manitoba is poor because we can't make any good decisions here, but...
Well...
yeah. Some of those other ones are questionable.
Well, that is exactly the point. Maybe it's time that we review equalization payments and come up with a harsher system that forces stronger economic growth in the provinces.
Yeah, at least, encourage it. Instead of just encouraging, the celebration that you're getting more equalization every year. It's not really something that should be celebrated, I don't think.
Well, that's that.
That's that, he says.
Should we?
He is done with that topic and ready for the next
We'll bring it up again sometime when it's ready. I'd like to ask you guys about what we talked about last time. There's been a couple of announcements recently. Do you know what I'm referring to, Adam?
You better tell me.
We said that this Mark Carney would be the...
Carbon Tax Carney.
That's his actual birth name. Correct. That's Carbon right. Tax Carney. I think some call him Mark. I don't know why. It is Carbon Tax Carney.
He's got the greatest taxes.
He's got the biggest taxes. He will save the planet. At least that's what I'm saying.
Only in Canada, though. He's okay with pipelines in other countries.
Yeah. So he is out the gate the first candidate for the Liberal leadership here, right?
He was endorsed today by none other than Stephen Guilbeault himself.
Who is that?
Our environmental minister, whack job.
Yes. He is that's a guy that didn't want to build any more roads in
No more
Canada.
roads shall be built in Canada.
That's right. How do you like that? You guys have absolutely terrible roads after all this snow, but no more roads.
We actually don't need them.
Yep.
We just didn't realize that.
You should.
We don't need gas either.
Yeah. He's part of the issue with trying to get all those electric vehicles forced on us by a certain short timeline, right?
I could talk about his antics for hours, but I would like to continue with the topic that you kicked off here about carbon tax Carney.
Carbon tax Carney.
He has announced he's going to run for Liberal leadership.
And endorsed, as you've just said.
And endorsed.
Yeah. So, do we still think he's a shoo-in? Is Freeland going to actually get a part of that vote too, or what?
Freeland's going to put up a fight, but I don't think she's going to win. I think she is just simply too close to all the bad policies that Trudeau foisted upon us. And, over the years, there's so many shots of her standing beside him, announcing how great all of this nonsense was. And I think that that's just going to resonate in people's memories too much. And she just won't get the support within the party because she won't get the support from the people. And they think that Mark Carney, everyone just loves to say the term outsider, which just means he has no experience running a government or being a politician because he's never actually been elected to anything. So I don't particularly think he is a great choice either. Don't know that being an outsider makes you suddenly a brilliant prime minister. But we're going to hear that term thrown around as a reason why we should all like him.
Well, you know what? He's exactly like Donald Trump then. Never elected to anything. And then some would say he was the best president ever. Some would say that. But he wasn't a politician before. So, you're saying Trump and Mark Carney are pretty identical, huh?
Yeah, they're the same.
That's right. So if you don't like Trump, don't vote for Mark Carney, huh?
Don't what?
Don't vote for Mark Carney. What did I say?
Yeah, that's what he said. Moving right along.
Yeah, I haven't really heard too much policy about these two. Obviously, they're trying to distance themselves from the current Liberal Party, but
they have a very interesting policy. I'm glad you brought it up.
What is that?
Well, there's this thing called the carbon tax.
I love it.
They don't
tax
like it.
everything.
They think it's bad, and
they started it. We called him carbon
both
tax.
Both of them want to get rid of it.
No, you can't be serious. They wouldn't name him carbon tax Carney if he wanted to also now get rid of it. What do you mean?
Just it seems that is going to be a part of their policy because it's so fantastically unpopular that they have decided it's a bad idea.
Are they just going to find other ways to regulate change in systems instead of just a straight up tax?
I would think that anyone close to this current Liberal government is probably thoroughly on board with continuing to tax everything out of existence because they seem to think that will save the planet. So I would imagine they'll find another way to steal your money.
Michael, bring your beautiful face into this podcast and tell us.
He's got the best face.
He's got the best face. Bring it in. Bring it in. People love to see you, Mike.
There he is. There he is.
So, Mike, how do you feel about these leaders actually saying that they want to get these taxes that they actually implemented, basically their party implemented? What do you think about that?
I just want to see what they're going to actually do. I mean, they brought it in the first place. Now they say they want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Why bring it then? Just to...
There's something odd about that?
Like, it's just... yeah. To me, yeah. Again, I'm not really political. We all know this already.
Don't be political. Just be a guy who doesn't want his money stolen.
I don't want it.
They're begging for your votes. And if you've ever voted, you've got to at least have some reason to vote, right?
Yeah, because I want things to, like, be less expensive.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much... What more can you say?
Yeah, there's nothing much more you can say about that.
I think we'd all appreciate that.
Yeah.
So is that half the reason why a lot of people are tending to vote conservative? They promised axe a tax a long time ago, and now this axe a tax message is carried on so well that the Liberals are saying it?
And now the liberal pundits are all telling us that the idea of a carbon tax election is dead, and the Conservatives have no platform.
Well, I don't know about that. That might be their strategy, just to limit the amount of beating that they are to receive based off this. Because Michael Lee seems to sit here as an average guy saying, "I want things to be cheaper."
Above average.
Well, okay.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll debate that on another subject.
Put that on topics for next time.
Yes.
Yeah, but the point here is he's just saying what the average guy wants. Want things to be cheaper.
You want things to be affordable.
Oh,
I'm sick and tired of like the price of groceries. I know we had that whole tax freeze.
How do you feel
right
though?
now? But
he's telling
I
you.
don't even really see it, to be honest with you.
Well, don't see what
the tax freeze that's happening right now until I think mid-February.
Oh, the GST holiday.
That one. That
hasn't made you rich.
No,
it hasn't solved all the problems.
Difference.
Oh,
I don't see much difference. Do you guys see a difference?
On paper? We see a couple of numbers switch in the bank's accounts, but as an effect, no, I don't feel the effect.
I don't
see it. I don't feel it like that.
I had forgotten about it till you brought it up.
Yeah, see,
basically.
There you go.
Yeah, the point I'm asking is, if a Liberal Party brought in a tax and then says they want to get rid of it, I know people's minds change and governments change and that. But how much credit do you actually give to those people as the average voter, Mike, to say, you know what, I'll trust them to do the same thing that the other people already just promised to do?
You're asking me how I feel about the Liberals saying that now?
Yeah, how do you feel about them say that now?
They imposed this tax on you, and now they realize you don't like the tax. They're like, oh, vote for me and I'll remove the thing I did.
Yeah, no. You're not going to. Or I feel like, you're just doing it just... I don't know what the word the kids use nowadays is. For clout? Is that what it is? You're just basically saying that because you realize how bad you screwed up.
Yeah. That's how politics works.
Like,
when everybody hates you because of basically one thing.
Yeah.
Literally one thing you did that no one can stand you for now.
I mean, they did a lot more than one. But
yes, but the
that's another topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then your leader leaves or steps down because he knows he's not going to win the next election.
He was basically shoved out, yeah.
Yeah. And they're all not convincing him. What's what I'm looking for? They're all suggesting to him to step down at this point because
suggesting.
Yeah. He screwed up so badly.
Leave or else.
Yeah. And now you're basically doing what the conservatives have been doing the entire time, talking about axing the tax, because you don't have anything else to go on.
Yes, they have.
You have nothing else to promise Canadians because you don't shit the bed.
They have so little substance in their platform that the first thing they do is steal the other guy's platform that they have been telling us is wrong.
Yes.
It is very interesting. I am excited to see how it plays out.
Absolutely no sense.
Well, just so you guys know, there's a relief coming in the Liberal Party anyways, because if you don't like those two leading candidates...
Is there another option?
Karina Gould.
Who is that?
I have no idea.
Okay, moving along.
Basically, I don't know what is going on here. Do you guys... Michael Lee, take a moment and pull it up.
Google Karina Gould. So what we do know, we know one thing.
We know one thing about Karina Gould.
She is not an outsider.
She is what is she?
The leader of the House.
Leader of the House of Commons.
Yeah. Now I'm going to have to figure out what that means. She's a little bit of a leader
in her party. I get it. So she thinks that she's going to have a little bit of sway. You know what happens in these situations in Liberal leaderships, or even any party leadership? You just get your foot in the door, and popularity might increase a little bit. You're not really thinking you have much of a chance.
Like, she's young enough that there could be a future leadership run if she continued to gain popularity over the next 4 to 8 years.
Yeah. I mean, how well does it work in the past for people to do that? But I mean, because you often get one more charismatic candidate that shows up. But I mean, Mark Carney has been in the background of the Liberal Party for years, even up into the previous Conservative government. He was still in the background of the Liberal Party when they were a minor party.
and that's the reason why there's, some belief and likely some truth to it that he's he's had a hand in a lot of their financial policy for years. So, and that has not gone great for us. So if he's been a part of it, it's something to consider.
Oh, so consider Karina Gould if you're a Liberal card member, and you can vote for that lady.
Yes. We don't know if she's going to ban the carbon tax, though.
Well,
axe the carbon tax.
Adam, Michael Lee doesn't even trust the Liberals to do that, so he says, give her a try, right?
I sure do.
Yeah.
Give her a try.
Why not?
Someone's got to lead them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lead them into slaughter, but that's okay.
Hey.
Well, I mean, maybe, and that's another interesting point, because since we've been talking about a lot of politics on this podcast, I'm sure we come across as being extremely anti-liberal. But on that note,
the Liberals are anti-liberal.
The Liberals are not really fulfilling their role in Canadian politics that we need them to. They've spent now, the last 8 or 9 years trying to out NDP the NDP on the left side of the spectrum. And they've left Canada without a very good centrist option. I mean, our Conservative Party these days they've moved more to the center. I know many people will argue with me on that front, but they are center right, and they're still quite right. But we don't have
better than quite wrong.
It's better than quite wrong. So we don't have the Liberal Party representing the center of the political spectrum as they traditionally have, and that's the reason why we, tend not to agree with a lot of the policy that comes out of them and a lot of the moves that they make. So I am actually hopeful to see to see them get hammered in the upcoming election, and hopefully they'll shed a lot of the the policy or the MPs they have that have all these extremely left wing minded views, and see the party move back towards the center, or as I believe we mentioned, the radical center, whatever that means, in the last podcast. So I'm kind of hopeful for them to lose and then start realigning themselves into a party that might actually serve a purpose.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I listen to Liberal people talk on American podcasts often, and I don't listen to too many good Canadian ones, but that's unfortunate. But hey, YouTube algorithm, give us a go and we'll improve. Anyways, the point of the matter is,
show us to the Liberals.
I
they
do
can tell
listen
us we
to,
suck.
I like actual Liberals, not like liberals that are just, big L liberals, which means they're party members, but not really,
right?
Not really enveloping actual liberal beliefs. They're far more towards the socialist side of the left spectrum. But I like listening to these liberals give their traditional opinions and discussions. And if we are looking at how American policies and politics reflect on Canada, because that's often how it goes in this culture, a lot of liberals would be in the Democratic Party, and a lot of these people have turned to voting for the current Republicans because they embrace much more liberal ideas and share more with the Conservatives at this point. They're all embracing the center. So you got a right party in the U.S., the Republicans, and the Conservatives here in Canada, both on the right side of the spectrum in ideology, forming a larger popularity due to the fact that both of them are embracing more centrist ideas.
Yeah, true.
And unfortunately, I don't know if it's unfortunate. It's usually just a pattern, but I guess the reality is, you know what? It's good to have diversity in different parties. Like in the U.S., you have a 2-party system, so the diversity in each party could be significant. So who's to say that couldn't happen in Canada too, where you could have a large conservative party at some point in the next parliament and have a good amount of differing opinions that have to be discussed in government.
I just think the Liberals will have, they'll have more success if they get handed.
a beatdown.
If they get handed a beatdown,
and have to reflect on their lives.
Exactly. They need to reflect on the last few years and figure out if that was really the right path.
They need Canada to break up with them, and they need to go through that breakup pain.
Yeah. They can
guys know what I'm talking about.
They can grow a little bit from it,
and improve themselves.
That's right.
And be strong and mighty. Mm-hmm. We can be the best, beautiful Canada and Liberal Party ever if we just embrace what Canadians actually have to say to us.
Well, what about the NDP? What should they do?
They should go away.
Yeah.
Never come back.
That's fine.
We've already got enough, what do you call it? Unions. And enough union support. That was all they were really created for back in Saskatchewan. Mm-hmm. So now that a lot of people support unions, and then they do good, some good for us, and they do some abuse to some businesses. But regardless, as a party, what are they doing? They're just sitting around federally, and
their platform has been stolen by the Liberals.
Yeah, and I mean, and provincially, they basically take. The Liberals take over, the NDP take over the Liberal side of the spectrum anyway. So it's either you have a Liberal or a NDP government provincially, or you have a Conservative one. It's either or. It's never like between Liberals and NDP as the top running in a province. So, I mean,
that's probably true.
Yeah. So look, you correct me if I'm wrong. Write it in the comments. I'll read it later in discussion. Below. The point of the matter here is, well, what about the Liberals and what about the NDP? The Liberals are going to get handed. Are the NDP going to get handed? We'll wait and find out and see what the numbers are. As for whatever these NDP are promising us, I have no idea. They're just promising us a new election eventually, and that Jagmeet won't be supporting this Liberal government anymore. But
maybe.
However, the fact of the matter is, what has he done in the last little while? Supported. He's basically married to that. No, they're basically the same party.
He ripped up their agreement. You saw it.
They're divorced.
Ripped it up.
They broke up.
And then he danced like this.
No, that was a guy down south. But anyways, yeah, I have hopes for the Liberal Party just like you do. It would be great to see. We'll talk about it on the upcoming podcast when we have more leadership direction from that Liberal Party. Until then, I think you guys, it's good night and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.